Hello, everyone. We are joined by Bang from 100 Thieves coming in off of their successful win today against Loud. Congratulations on the top finish in the group stage, Bang, firstly. It's been
Thank you.
quite a roller coaster for you personally as well as for your team this year. So, how are you feeling after this whole stage?
I'm pretty happy that we were able to like kind of carry the momentum. I think we've mentioned this many times, especially our coach kind of set the like tone instantly after we won EWC. It's just that winning after you won a tournament and like, continuing to win and keep that like passion and motivation to like still show up and give your like basically your hardest at practice every day is it's hard to do. I think it's the hardest part of being a competitor is getting the win is actually just a combination of luck and good form, and obviously being a great team. But trying to carry that onto more wins is the hardest thing in the game, I think. So I'm just happy that we were able to carry such a good form into the stage. I do think we had some moments to slip up. Obviously, the matches weren't as clean as we would like, and we had one loss against C9, but I'm happy overall.
Yeah, talking about your loss against C9, what happened there? Because I feel like if you had asked everybody which would have been like the game you were most likely to win, I feel like most of Americas would have been like, yeah, that's the one. And that's the one you guys lost, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think honestly, their comp was definitely something that's like we don't get a lot of practice against. They played double senti on. I'm pretty sure was it both maps? Yeah, or like not double senti, but they ran Viper Cypher, which is not a comp we have a lot of experience against. And they had really good bunkers. And usually, we're really good at like running teams down and just like our site hits are just really strong in general against most comps. But against that comp, they really taught us a lesson that I mean we ended up learning, so it's obviously good overall. But we kind of need to take things slower and kind of approach the rounds differently than we were to against any other team. I think we just learned good lessons that day, and also obviously it wasn't the greatest day out of most of us. I think we were all not really shooting too well, especially myself. I don't think I was shut up very well that day at all. But that's basically the rundown of what happened in that match.
Talking about shooting well, you were, I think, after the first half on map number two, I think you were 18 and 5 or something like that. So, what took over on map number two of against Loud?
I mean, honestly, I don't even think I was shooting that well there either. I feel like
Wow.
I kind of made plays and they just it ended up working out. I feel like they just kind of came to me and I didn't really like it's one of those things where like you hear like the classic line where don't chase it or it'll come to you kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know exactly how the line goes. It's something like that and it's kind of how I felt. Like I wasn't hitting some incredible, unbelievable shots, maybe some rounds, but I feel like it was just mostly like I was just playing the game and they were just doing the things I was expecting and I was just kind of flowing.
It definitely seemed like you were in a flow state. So, I think had the chance to speak to both of your coaches. So, how has it been this year? Because I think that you were with 100 Thieves before, you've rejoined them again. So, with new staff, some of the same teammates. So, what do you think has been the biggest difference in terms of coaching this year and how this roster has been performing so far?
I think they definitely our coaches definitely take a like different approach than most coaches. Obviously, there's always going to be some overlap and similarities between every coach I've worked with. But I think I really admire their like willingness to just experiment and try things that no other teams have tried. Like we were the first team to really run the Harbor solo controller on Breeze this year. But yeah, we were the first team to try new comps and new ideas like with Harbor and things like that. But yeah, I feel like a lot of teams and a lot of players want to just fall back to what they know works and what could work, rather than experiment and try new things. And I feel like they really push our boundaries, like this coaching staff, especially me. I feel like I am taken out of my comfort zone a lot, and it kind of improves me as a player personally.
Okay, so one more question about that map number two. I think at some point you guys were able to. I think there was an Odin dropped in the middle somewhere, and Vora was kind of running with it.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
was
yeah.
what was kind of the reaction, after some of those rounds?
Obviously, we were a bit antsy, so I dropped like Jordan is telling me to, or Vora's telling me to save the Odin. After like yeah, it's like basically the second to last round of the game, and then the last round of the game, I give him the Odin, and he's like someone we're talking a lot and making. I think Timotino was making a call in the freeze time on something that he wanted to do, and I just gave him the Odin, and he like didn't realize that he bought one himself. So it's just kind of a funny moment. I feel like these kind of things happen all the time whenever you're competing. So honestly, we all just thought it was hilarious, and Peter or Asuna just instantly just like, yeah, I can use the Odin. Why not? It was pretty funny.
I mean, why not? Talking about Asuna, so it's kind of like a reunion this year for you and him, and also Cryo. So, how has that been to be back with old teammates, but popping off this time and actually
Mhm.
like being the team to watch out for?
Honestly, it really it's amazing to be able to play with like people that I played with in the past. Especially since I knew in the past that when we were playing together, it was definitely like I felt that all three of us, I felt the whole team honestly in 24 and the years before that in the past like had so much potential and skill. But like I just knew that like us three could definitely do a lot in the just we could win basically. And I don't feel like we accomplished everything we wanted to accomplish together personally. I think 24 we kind of ended on like kind of not the best note. We didn't make champions. Obviously, we were very close, but we showed a lot of good that year, and I had wished we showed more good. So I'm glad I get the opportunity. It was really a great opportunity to be able to team with them again, and it's honestly just like such a comfortable environment. Like playing with people that you've known for years, you kind of know the ins and outs of every player, and you know what they like to do and what they don't like to do, and what to expect from them. So honestly, having that just creates a level of comfort that it really makes it easy to play.
Talking about comfort as well, I think that you've been more of the clutch kind of player for this team in a lot of situations, always in the right place at the right time. Do you think that it's easier for you to um, be on your controller or your Omen role? I know that Omen is probably one of the more aggressive ones out there, but do you think it's easier for you personally because you now have like Asuna as well as Timo to kind of like take over the duelist duties, take over the aggression duties? Do you think the comps have been helping you out?
Yeah, actually, I do think that the double duelist comp, like back in single duelist meta, it was like it was on the Omen more to be more aggressive and kind of be that secondary duelist kind of play style. I feel
Mhm.
like that was the kind of role I was kind of getting pushed to on Sentinels. Or at moments it feels really good, and at moments it didn't feel as comfortable as I would have liked. But I think that that kind of play style is not necessary when you're running double duelists, like I said. And they just kind of take the role of just being the most aggro players on our team and just creating so much chaos and honestly, I think a lot of players who are playing around that chaos, like your teammates who are just kind of like I don't want to say baiting, but like playing off of you, it makes it their lives really easy. Being able to play off someone who's just constantly making chaos and kind of making space for you, makes your life a lot easier. So like, I think that's probably the biggest difference from double duels and single duels for me.
Yeah, it definitely looks like you're able to capitalize quite a bit off the back
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, talking about this particular meta, what do you think about this year so far? I mean, you're like an OG at this point, so what has been your most and least favorite meta, and how do you feel about this one?
I kind of realized I didn't realize that, or sorry, I realized that I didn't say the Omen thing. I didn't hit the Omen thing, by the way. Omen, I've been playing for so long that it's so comfortable to me at this point. I just wanted to mention that. Like, if you play an agent for as long as I have, it just gets comfortable, and you don't even think about it. It's just second nature, for me. Whenever I get a chance to play Omen, so it's fun. But
How has
for
it been picking
the
up the
meta thing,
harbor before you
oh,
before you enter that? Yeah.
yeah, the Harbor has been really fun. It's like when you play the same. I've been playing like very similar agents for like the past 2 years, like or 3 years. 4 years. It's been so long. I don't remember how many years. Like I think it's been 4 years. I've been playing Astra, Brimstone, Omen, Viper. Like that's all I get to play. But it's nice being able to play Harbor. It's like a breath of fresh air, being able to just try a new agent and finally having an agent. Like Brimstone's ult was pretty good, but I think having an agent where the ult orb really matters a lot because the Harbor ult is actually a really good ability is really
Hmm.
fun for me
Did you
personally.
like him more before or after the nerf?
Oh, absolutely. After I didn't even touch it
The
before
smoke
the
tip
nerf.
matter?
Everything having that cove like as like a kind of like an omen smoke is really nice and everything the buff has just really made it great.
Hmm. Fair enough. All right, now you can tell me about the meta. Sorry, I wanted to hear
Sorry.
it.
Yeah, my bad. So for the meta, okay, the question was wait,
What was
sorry,
your
can you repeat
favorite, least favorite, and most favorite meta, and how you feel about the current one?
like within this year or just in
Overall,
general?
overall, yeah.
um I feel like yeah, the current one definitely relies on a lot more micro like decision making and like I think it relies a lot on having like a really strong like duelist combo if you do run double duelist. I think you can and people have already made it work running single duelist, running like double sentinel and these kind of like slower comps with chamber and things like this. But if you are gonna go to double duelist route, it's a lot of micro and a lot of like having people who are really good instinctually. But I'm lucky enough where I feel like I have two really good instinctual duelists on my team who just make the meta super fun to play in for me. Like I'm saying, like I think this is probably my favorite meta just because like it doesn't really ask too much of me on in all honesty. It mostly just requires having a really strong like duelist combo, and I feel like if you have that, you have the key to like winning, honestly.
It definitely looks like it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite and least favorite, metas since you've been around for
Uh,
a while, you know?
Least favorite meta, definitely back in the day when people ran Astra Viper, like the
Oh
most
God.
boring, slow meta. I actually before I personally want to say that I didn't mind the chamber meta. It was really annoying to play against a good chamber. Like playing against Cryo back in the chamber meta was the most miserable thing ever. But I think that honestly, the team I was on were kind of peaking and we were hitting a good stride. And it was my first actual like moment in my career where I feel like I was improving a lot as a player and got to like a higher peak. So it was a lot of fun for me personally playing that chamber meta back in 22. But before that, back in the day where it's just like Astra Viper, rotate because smokes, just you're always smoked off, play super slow game. You can't rush anything, you'll get Astra sucked. It's the most boring gameplay I've ever played in my life. So I'm glad that that meta's over.
Yay, no more post plans. Everybody can spam
Yeah,
now. It works.
yeah, it's disgusting that meta. I'm also glad that they removed the pings, just being able to like ping the bomb on the mini map and or on the big map and then spam it. That was the worst mechanic.
Yeah, you just want to put down a dark cover and diffuse it, you know? Like, why do people get to spam you, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's weird. It's cringe.
All right, last question before I let you go.
Mhm.
Talking about you in particular, like you mentioned, you've been around for a few years at this point. Been on several teams, been through the grind, so as to speak. So, what do you think is the most important thing that you've had to really learn and relearn as a player to be able to, get to this point where you are right now?
I feel like, mm, mm, I feel like the thing that I learned a lot is kind of knowing what the team requires of you and kind of like adapting to fill that role, whatever it is. Sometimes it might be more comfortable than other times. Sometimes like things are just click easier. But I feel like, yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just kind of like not sticking in the old ways that worked. Like I'm saying, like my coaches helped a lot in pushing me into like experimenting different play styles and different agents and things like this. But yeah, be willing to and open to like experiment and have an open mind. I think the biggest having an open mind is the most important thing in this game. Trying to just be super or like being stubborn and kind of not accepting other viewpoints and believing that you are right most times than not is just not. It's not a healthy it's not healthy for any like work in general, but it definitely won't help you in Valorant because I feel like this is a game of constant adapting and being open to new suggestions and ideas. So I think just having an open mind is a big lesson that I've learned, and being willing to get out of your comfort zone is another big lesson.
Awesome. Anyway, thank you. Thank you so much for the interview. Good luck for your next games. I think our time's up, and hopefully I get to talk to you again during playoffs.
Yeah, nice talking to you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.